Hello everyone friends, construction Aachen is ongoing and today we will work on Aachen sliding gates. We'll make them ourselves and save a bit in the process. So if you're interested in how to make good quality sliding gates without overpaying, you're in the right place. In general, enjoy watching. As usual, I bought the materials I needed at the metal base. This is a profile pipe 60 by 40 for the frame and a pipe 30 by 20 to which the sheathing will be attached. The beam and rollers for the gates were purchased a long time ago and have been waiting for their time. Before starting to make the gates, you need to prepare a foundation for them. You can dig a strip along the fence about 2 meters long, or do as I did, drill 2 piles, and then connect them with a strip. Next, you need to make the embedded part. Here I also saved a bit and welded the channel from pieces. It will be filled with concrete anyway, and nothing will be visible. At the corners of the foundation I securely welded the rebar frames and tied them together. This resulted in a simple foundation. Next we mix the mortar and do the pouring. Don't forget to set everything strictly to the level you need before this. I used the height of the gate as my reference. I also immediately planned the embedded parts for attaching the carriage in the form of 14mm bolts, so that later I wouldn't have to weld the carriage to the foundation as most installers do. Well, the foundation is already ready. Now we can start making the gate. Since the weather leaves much to be desired, the gate will have to be made in the workshop. Fortunately, the size allows for it. Alright, let's start cutting the metal. I will be using a bandsaw as I decided to cut the angles at 45 degrees. In my opinion, this will make the frame more rigid and the angles will be neater. Next is cutting the blanks. The height of the frame, excluding the beam, in my case is 1,90 m. The length of the sheet is 425. Next, using a laser level, we align the obtained blanks in one plane. This is a very important step and should not be neglected. Otherwise, we'll end up with a helicopter, and fixing it will be much more difficult. Next are the welding works. But before that, don't forget to check the diagonals. I did this several times. One side is ready. We flip it over and weld the second side, but first we align it in one plane. The frame is welded, only the brace remains to be welded. We make the markings and cut at the required angle. To do everything without misalignment, I will temporarily use a beam, clamping it with clamps. This way we definitely won't mess up. The brace is in place. From the leftover profile, I'll make another strut. It definitely won't make it worse. So the frame is ready. It turned out quite well. And most importantly, there's no warping. Now let's work on the internal filling of the frame. Here I am using a 30 by 20 pipe. We take measurements and also cut the blanks at 45 degrees. To ensure everything is as straight as possible, I again used a beam and With the help of a piece of profile and a magnet, I weld the 30 by 20 pipe as if using a template. It turns out like this. The gaps between the tack welds are 250-300 millimeters. The perimeter binding is ready. And to take a little break from welding, I decided to paint the beam while the weather allows. By the way, many have asked to talk about how the compressor is doing after the purchase. If you remember, it's been more than 2 years since I started using it. Let me remind you, my compressor is from the brand Denzel with a capacity of 400 liters per minute and a receiver of 100. It has a belt drive, which in my opinion is significantly better than a direct drive. During its operation, I've done all sorts of things with this compressor. This includes working with pneumatic tools, painting cars, and sandblasting. It has proven itself well, and I have no complaints. By the way, a new improved model of the compressor has been released. In this line of belt-driven compressors, the valves are made from Japanese steel, which significantly increases their lifespan. And the motor has gained resistance to overheating due to the replacement of the aluminum winding with copper. Also, in the new compressor, the front wheels are swivel, which significantly eases its movement around the workshop. But for those who want to get to know it in more detail, a link will be in the description. First, the beam needs to be thoroughly degreased, otherwise it won't be possible to paint it well. Also remove areas where there is corrosion. Then proceed with priming and painting the internal cavities. It will turn out as it may, but it definitely won't be worse. The beam is primed. It remains to dry, and we continue welding the gates. We still need to weld the internal crossbars. Everyone welds differently here, some with braces, some without. To maintain aesthetics, I won't weld braces. As practice shows, everything works well even without them. The filling of the gates itself also provides rigidity. To make everything as even as possible, we have to improvise. Well, the frame is ready, we can take it outside and continue there. The weather seems to have improved a bit. Well, it's much nicer to work in the fresh air. We'll clean the seams a little, although after the semi-automatic, this can be skipped. Next, we thoroughly degrease everything and we'll start priming. By the way, this is how I set up on the canisters. It's convenient and there's no need to invent anything. This is how the gates look after priming. Even now, the opening. But that's not all. To ensure they last as long as possible, the joints between the pipes need to be well sealed with a special seam sealant. Now no moisture is a threat to them. Next we just need to weld the beam to the frame. It's quite simple here. We place the beam on a flat surface or, like I did, on supports. We clamp it with clamps and tack it. For convenience, I made this kind of device. The gates stand without any external help. Well, the beam is in place, we prime the welds and also apply sealant. Everything according to feng shui. Well, now for the painting. This part isn't very interesting, so I'll show the finished results. This is how the gates look once installed in the opening. Everything moves very smoothly, literally with one finger. But you can see all this for yourself.